All right. Now from admin panel side, we have one thing remaining. We'll work on that only. So we will show the student list of students who attempted some quiz. So where we have our quiz list in admin manage quizzes, here only where we have all our buttons in the grid in this table. So we have view questions, we have added, and here only we'll have one more button. Let's say info, let's make it success, and here we'll say view maybe attempts. Okay, and from here what we will do, we will redirect user to a new page where we will have list of students who have attempted that particular quiz. Okay, so from here, instead of this on click, we can directly have it as anchor tag. We can have href directly, and here we'll say admin slash quizzes slash, here we'll have quiz id, which we can have at the rate q.id slash, then we can have view student, something like this. Okay, let's copy this url. We need to create a new page for this one, and we don't need this on click now, so we can remove this, save, and we should be good now. Let's create a new page in admin, add new razor component, and here we'll say students, what we should call it, let's say quiz students dot razor. So first thing, we need to have page, so let's have page attribute with this url. Now this is going to be quiz id integer. Do we have quiz id as integer or GUID? We have GUID. All right, now we'll have this quiz id parameter here. We'll have this prop, and again the IntelliSense is not working, this is not working. I don't know what would happen. Unload, save, reload, quiz students, and it again didn't pick up yet. So I'll close Visual Studio and open it again. Before that, let's add the slash here. This is required. Save. Maybe this was the issue. Let's check the properties as well. Build action none. It should be build action content. Why it happens, I just have no idea. I will need to update my Visual Studio. Do let me know in the comment if this happens with you guys as well. We'll say unload project and then reload project. Let's see if this time IntelliSense works. Yes, it is working now. Okay, override on initialize sync. Okay, here we need to inject a couple of things. So maybe whatever we have in manage quizzes, let's have this thing here, inject, and section content, inject, and this one, let's say quiz students, something like this. Okay, save. Here I quiz API, category API, I app state. Here we'll say app state dot show loader. let's say fetching students. Then I'm going to have a try catch finally here. And finally, I'll say app_state.hide loader and catch. Oh, we need to work on this as well, right? Or did we already work on this? Catch, if we see in manage quizzes, here we have this exception. We need to work on this as well. This is also remaining. We'll have some global alert kind of thing for these exceptions. Okay, we already have that modal component. We'll kind of reuse that. Okay, now let's leave it like this. Inside this try, we need to make an API call to fetch this quiz information and the students who has attempted, and the data in this will show that should be similar to my quizzes, whatever we show in my quiz in student view. There we display the quiz name, category name, status, started. So quiz name and category name, these are fine. We can have student name and started and completed date time and the status and score, of course. Okay, so we'll kind of do these things only. All right. So for this, we need to have one type. Okay, let's go to our DTOs, shared DTOs. Here we'll have the type that should be something like student quiz DTO. So here we'll say public class, and here we'll say admin quiz student DTO. Okay, here we'll have string quiz name. Then we are going to have category name. What was the quiz category? Yeah, from quiz we just need these two things, right? What was the category and what was the quiz name? Then we need list of students. Okay, so for this we'll say, okay, admin quiz student DTO, right? We need one more type. We'll say public class admin quiz student list DTO. Maybe this should be student DTO, just this, and this upper one admin quiz student list DTO. Let's make it list DTO. So inside this we'll have this quiz student DTO. Prop this one, array of this one. Here we'll have students like this. All right, let's move it to separate class file. Let's move this as well. In that only admin quiz student list DTO. Here we'll have this. Now here we'll display student name and student name, right? For students we already have. So student name and then date time started on. Then we'll have nullable date time completed on. And what else we can have? Status and score, these two things as well. And now we are good. We can have one API endpoint and one service in API to fetch this data. Okay, do this. So we'll go to our API. We'll go to services. And here we have quiz service, student quiz service, admin service. Maybe in quiz service we can have it, or maybe in admin service we can have it anywhere. Maybe in quiz service or this admin service we are okay with any of these. Mhm. I just want to see how my quiz, in my quiz, are we using start index or and that, or what? Yes, start index and page size. All right. So here what we'll do in admin service, let's create a method public async task. This should return uh, not paged result, not paged result. We should have paged result, right? So let's do this. In that model which we created, student quiz DTO, what was that? Admin student list DTO. Instead of having this directly as students, let's have it as paged result of this type. Okay, save it. Now let's return this type from our admin service. So from here we'll return this admin quiz student list DTO. Get quiz students sync, and here in the parameter we will have quiz ID. Okay, now we need to get two data. One is quiz name category name and one is list of students. So what we can do, we can get quiz name and category data on the basis of this quiz ID. So we'll say var quiz info equals, here we'll say await. We are using context factory here. All right. Okay, so we can issue these two calls in parallel. Right, in home data we are using this, we'll do the similar kind of thing here. We'll say await context factory dot create db context dot, from here we'll say quizzes dot first or default async, we'll say q dot id equals this quiz id. Now we don't need all the data from this, we just need two properties. Here we'll do this and this, and before first or default we'll say select, or maybe we'll not use first or default here, we'll use where, then we'll say dot select, and we'll just get q dot name and q dot category dot name, just this two piece of data. Category name equals this and quiz name equals this, and then we'll simply say first or default async. Okay, or maybe yeah, we can directly await it because this is going to be a simple small call, so we should be good. Now here next thing we need students, and we need students only if this quiz info was found. That means if quiz info is not equals null, then only fetch the students. Now from where we'll fetch the students? If we are doing this thing, then we can have this context created outside of this. We can say using var context equals this, and here we can directly use this context. Same thing here, we'll say context dot student quizzes dot where q dot quiz id is equals this quiz id. Okay, from here we need to select, what we need to select, we just need to select new student, what was that, admin quiz student DTO, we need to select this. Okay, completed on name, it would be s dot student dot name. Then we have started on, then we have score, then we have status equals s dot status, and then we'll say dot to array async, await, quiz info is not equals null. We have all these things. After this, what we'll do, we need to return this type. So let's create this object here. So we'll say var result equals new this, and then in this result we'll set result dot quiz name equals quiz info dot quiz name, and result dot category name equals quiz info dot category name. Then this list of students, we have this query. On this query, we'll get this query outside of this because we need to have count as well. So we'll have this query here with this, and we'll have our count as well equals await query dot count async. Now we'll have our paged result. Paged students equals, we'll say new paged result. We need to provide records. This is going to be the students, and then count, which will be count. Now it is not able to figure out what type, so we'll provide this type here. After this, what we'll do, in our result dot students, we'll set this paged result, paged student, and at the very end we'll just return this result. Okay, so this is the basic draft of this method. Now let's try to modify this as per our requirements. So first requirement is for paged result, we are going to have paging, of course. So that means on this thing we can have int start index and int page size. Okay, so the paging will apply on these students. So here we'll say dot order by, or let's say order by descending. Here we'll say s dot started on. We'll order by on started on, then we'll skip start index, and then we'll take page size. Okay, so this paging related stuff is also done. Now with first call, this quiz info fetch makes sense, but for subsequent calls this does not make sense because we already have this information on the UI, right? So we can skip this quiz info part if we are on the page number 1. Sorry, if we are not on the page number 1. So we can have that if start index is 0, then only we'll fetch quiz info, or we can have one additional flag here. We'll say bool fetch quiz info, which will be false by default, or maybe let it pass from the UI. We'll have this thing. Now here we'll add this condition. If fetch quiz info is true, then only fetch the quiz info. Okay, then we'll add these two things in here only. But now we don't have this quiz info, so this check, it should also be inside this fetch quiz info only. So here we'll say if this quiz info, maybe let's check for is equals null, then we can simply return direct result from here. Maybe just add the result dot what is that, students equals new page result with default values blank array and 0. and then just return result. If that's not the case, let it continue. And then now we don't need this check. We can simply get rid of this thing and we'll have it like this. Alright, so this method is ready. Now we are good to use this method. Let's copy this. Go to our endpoints. So we'll go to admin endpoints. Okay. And here we have this group API users, all these things. API admin home data. The similar way we'll have one more endpoint here. We'll say app.map get /API /admin / let's follow that thing only. We'll say quizzes or maybe quiz students. Okay, we can have quiz ID as a parameter, or maybe let's do this. Quizzes / quiz ID, which will be GUID, and /students. Okay, and async. And here we need this GUID quiz ID as a parameter. After this, we need those parameters: int start index, int page size, and bool fetch quiz info. Right? It was fetch quiz info. Cool. After this, we'll inject what? We'll inject our service, our admin service. Okay. Then we'll say just come here, return results.ok, service dot get quiz students async quiz ID start index page size and fetch quiz info. Here we are good. What happened? Results.ok. This one is for this one is for this. Then we need one more. Yeah. So this is done. Now we need to have this thing here. It should get applied to just this. Maybe we should do this. We should have an admin group and apply this to admin only, because all these calls should be on admin only, right? Here we have this group where we are adding this. Yeah, let's do this. So here we'll say what admin group equals, we'll say app.map group /API /admin. Then let's have this call. Now we'll have this admin group.map get, and we'll remove this API /admin from here. So this is already here. And same thing we'll do here. We'll remove admin API admin, and we'll change this to admin group. And then here we have this group. Instead of app group, we'll add this admin group and we'll remove this API. So now it will be /API /admin /users. And then these calls are on this group. So here we don't need this require authorization, because this is already on this admin group. Okay, save everything. We need to change these users calls. We need to add /API /admin in admin endpoint. So let's go to the web side. APIs, iAdmin API. Here we have these users. API /users. It will be now API /admin /users. Here it will be admin /users. Home data is fine. Then we need one more, which we added this newly, get quiz students async. Okay, and this will be get again /API slash API slash admin slash, let's check what we have, this quizzes and this thing, slash admin slash quizzes slash quiz id. We'll need to remove this GUID here because this does not refit get post, these attribute does not support that route constraint. So using this we should be good. Now we can use this get quiz students async directly on our page, that is quiz students. So here we can use that from admin API. We don't need iQuiz API, we need iAdmin API. Admin API. We don't need category API, so we are good without this. Now here we'll have admin API dot get quiz students async. We need to provide this quiz ID as a parameter. So first we need to have it. We'll say prop quid and quiz ID. So we can provide this quiz ID here. After this we need to have page start index and page size. For this we'll use quick grid. Okay, so for quick grid, this quiz ID, it should be parameter. For quick grid we need to have that grid items provider here. We'll say private grid items provider. This will be type of admin student, admin quiz student DTU, this type. Okay, here we'll say students provider. Then we will also have private admin, maybe not add, we'll just can have string underscore quiz name and category name, right? Category name. Save everything. Okay, now after this let's have one more field here. So we'll say private bool underscore fetch quiz info. You can technically get it on the basis of this check, but I just want to avoid this check. So I'll simply say fetch quiz info. And I think we are good. Let's provide body for the students provider. The students provider equals, we'll have this async and request, and inside this we'll have our try catch. What we are having outside, we'll have this inside this thing. So in try, before try we'll have this, we don't need this try catch, outer try catch. Okay, so here we'll have this catch, and finally we are hiding the loader in finally, and here in this try we'll say word result equals await admin API dot get quiz students async quiz id, it will be quiz id, start index, it will be request dot start index, request dot start index, page size, it will be request dot count, which is nullable. We'll have a default value for this. So here let's have private const int default page size, maybe let's say 15. We'll use this. If count is null, then we'll say use this, then comma fetch quiz info. So this we have underscore fetch quiz info, and we have this result ready now. Okay, so now here what we'll do, we'll check if we got some data in result, or maybe instead of directly returning this data from here from our admin service, I think we are good, right? We don't need to check anything with the result. We can just set one thing, that will be if the result maybe this thing we need to check again. If fetch quiz info was true, set it to false. This is the only thing which we'll do. Okay. After this, we'll say return grade items provider result dot from here we need to provide items, so we'll say result dot students dot records. Then total count, we'll say result dot students dot total count. And using this thing, our students provider is ready. Okay. Then after this, we need to also have that pagination. So for this, we'll have our pagination state here. Pagination state equals new pagination state. Here we'll define items per page with this default page size. Now we are good. Now we can start rendering the items here. Okay, so let's do this. Div class container, we can have this. After this, we'll have a div class row. Here we'll have just div class call 12. In here we'll have two, that quiz name and category name, right? These two things. Let's do this. Div, not div, we can have h3, and here we'll say quiz, and then we'll just define underscore quiz name, we'll show this. And after this, let's duplicate this. We'll say category, and here we'll say category name. Now for both of these, let's have these in a div class display flex, so that these are in rows. And then with this display flex, we'll have a gap of 3. And then just let's have class fw bold. Now we didn't set these two things, right? We need to set these. So we'll set these here. If fetch quiz info is true, that means this is the first call. Here we'll say quiz name equals result dot quiz name. Category name would be result dot category name. Okay. Now after this thing, we'll have an HR tag. Then we'll have again a div class call sm12, and here we'll render our quick grid. Render this. So we'll say quick grid. Here we'll say items provider equals this underscore students provider. Then for pagination state, we'll say pagination equals this pagination state. Then we'll have some bootstrap classes on this. Table striped, and table hover. Inside this, we are going to have some items. So we'll say property column. Property, first thing we'll display the name of the student. We'll say s dot name, and for title we can say student name. Okay, copy it a couple of times. Then we'll say s dot after name, we'll have when this quiz was started, right? Started on title we can have just started, and here we can have some format. We can say, if I'll go with standard, we'll say dd yyyy HHMM. Okay. Now for completed on, that could be null. So we'll work on that completed on with template column. We'll say template column. Title would be completed. Then after this completed, let's have status. We can directly display it without any title. So it will use this status only. And then we'll have score. Here also we don't need this title. Save everything. Okay. Now for this completed, let's copy it from the student my quizzes list. So we'll go to, where is my quizzes from student? We'll go to student, shared components, pages, student, my quizzes. And here we have this completed, right? So we'll copy this completed. And put it here. So this context is a special variable which is there inside this quick grids template column. Nested template column. Okay, we will just need to have simple template column and we are good with this. Okay, so exited, quiz exited, and I guess we are good with this. Let's quickly try this out. After this quick grid, we also need to have paginator. So here we'll say paginator and then we'll say state equals underscore pagination state. Save everything. Let's start. And I'm running the API only, which we don't need. Like this, let's start API as a separate window. Debug, start without debugging. Then let's select WebAssembly project and start. And there is some error. Let's see what this error is. Student quiz DTO is not found. In my quizzes, what is broken? I student quiz API. This is not web APIs. What is the problem here? It was working, right? Action content using for quick grid using all these usings. It was already working from student quiz DTO. Did I do something? It was working, right? And we don't have these in this underscore import to tracer. We have all these things in this underscore import to tracer, the outer one. Okay, sometimes these errors are very weird. So let's save everything. And we tested this thing, right? My quizzes on mobile side as well. Quiz students dot. Here we don't need this async version. So we can say protected override void on initialized. Save, start. Let's see. Okay, manage categories, manage students, manage quizzes, and we have this view attempts new button here. If you click on this, we are here, quiz category without anything, and we have 34 items with student list. There is only this test user and the paging is working fine. Status is different, but we don't have anything here, right? Let's inspect. And okay, I know what is it. Default value for this fetch quiz info, it should be true, right? Then It will check here, it will pass it true, then it will set these things, then it will set it to false. Now start. Manage quizzes, view attempts. Now we can again not see anything. Let's see console error. Let's go to network. Let's maybe go back and let's come to this page again and we'll select fetch XSR, quizzes and categories. This is fine. Now let's go to view attempts. We have this students call and here we are saying fetch quiz info to true, and in preview we got the data Blazor and quiz name. Still it didn't set. Strange. Let's check what is happening. If it was true, it is true here. It will come here, add these values, set it to false, and on next call. Okay, sometimes what happens, there might be multiple calls should at the same time. So instead of checking this fetch quiz info, what we can do maybe, uh, hmm, so maybe when we're setting this quiz name, category name, so these are triggering re-render, and before setting it, it again goes back and it try to maybe call this again. This might be the case. So we can have this call at the very first, the fetch quiz info false. Then let's see if this fixes the issue. If not, then we'll try some other thing. But we'll fix this issue for sure. Okay, manage quizzes, view attempts, and still it didn't work. Let's go to network. Or maybe let's do this. Fetch quiz info, this is fine. If it was true, it came here, it fetched the data, it set it to false, and then result.quizname, result.category name, these should have been set actually. Okay, so there you might want to get two different calls. That is also an option. Then one option could be when we are coming to this page from the previous page, we can have the quiz information because we already have quiz information on previous page. We can set that quiz information in the state and on this page we can get it. Those are two different options if you don't want to invest much time on it. But let's see what else we can do. Here maybe we can do this thing. Maybe we can just check if quiz name is, if not, string dot is null or white space. If result dot quiz name is not, or let's say this quiz name underscore quiz name, if this is null or white space, so we can consider that this is the first call. We'll do these things. This is, let's see if this works. If this also does not work, we'll try to see something else. Manage quizzes, view attempts. Are we doing everything right? Because now I am suspecting if this is the issue. Okay, let's do this. We are not setting it to false. Then let's see what happens. If this is the issue or the issue is something else. Manage quizzes, view attempts. Okay, that is not the issue. Something else is the problem here. So manage quizzes, remove everything, view attempts. We have this one call. We have category name and quiz name successfully populated here. But these are not getting set here. Are we rendering these? Yes, quiz name, category name. Okay, let's do this. Let's try to put breakpoints here. I'm adding breakpoint here. Let's start. Manage quizzes, view attempts, and breakpoint got hit. There's no code change. Okay, now we have result ready. It came to this condition. We have quiz name ready. Quiz name is Blazor test quiz. Category name is Blazor. Then we have this from items provider. Then we have this thing. Let's put a breakpoint here. Continue. It is not triggering the re-render for this thing from here. Strange, but from here it is going there. Something is not right. Do let me know in the comment if you guys are maybe thinking something that why it is not working. What is the problem here? I'm not sure why this is happening. Quick grid is fine. We can simply do this. But this is not fine. Let's try to render something else. Maybe this fetch quiz info. Let's render it here. I just want to check. That's why I'm adding it here. Start. Let's see if this gets updated. Initially it should be true and then it should set to false. Manage quizzes, view attempts. Oh my god, I had that breakpoint. Continue. True. It did not get set to false. But we actually set it to false, right? We do this. Still, this is true only. Oh, we are not setting it false. Set it to false. Let's start again, but we'll remove all the breakpoints. Delete all breakpoints. Yes, let's start. This is tricky one actually. I don't know what is happening here. I have no idea at all. Manage quizzes, view attempts. This is true and always true. It is not changing. And why is it not changing? Yeah? Okay, let's do this then. We'll say invoke async and we'll explicitly tell that state has changed. Let's see if this fixes this. We are explicitly telling Blazor that something has changed. You need to re-render here. Let's see if it works. Manage quizzes, view attempts, false, and now. Okay, this is state. It should have pick these things, but somehow it is not picking up. That means it will work with this true condition as well. Okay, no problem. We have multiple. We tried a lot of things, but we can explicitly tell. Sometimes Blazor's change tracking does not work, or maybe I don't know if there is some fundamental difference here. Do let me know in the comment what is happening here. Why Blazor was not able to detect, or the change tracker why didn't work here. Alright, so save everything, and now let's do one more thing here. We have this, remove this h1. H3, it is very big actually. So let's say h6 and h6. Okay, this quiz, FW bold for both of these, or maybe let's do this. We don't have, we will have FW bold, but just for these texts. So here, or maybe we can simply use strong tag. So strong quiz is this one. Same thing, category. So we'll use strong. This is bold tag, basically B tag. Strong, and save it. And yeah, let's see. Start. Alright, app is here, manage quizzes, view attempts, and we can see this Blazor test quiz and categories this, and then we have this paging. We can move around. You can have extra designing also if you want to for all these things, but for me, it is good. It is okay. Alright, now cool. Let's log out. Let's try to log in with student. Here we have my quizzes. This is fine. Home, start quiz. Okay. Maybe for this one, let's have div class container as a wrapper of this, right? Maybe it will look good. So on the student side, shared component pages, student, and here we have this quiz. We have this quiz page layout. So we'll go to layout in quiz page layout. It is directly is part of this thing. So what we can do here is we can wrap this entire thing in div class container. That's all. Save, stop, and let's start again. It should open the student version, start quiz. Okay, and we are good. So better than before, right? Save, next. Okay, and we are good. Let's stop, let's log out. Let's quickly check in mobile view as well one more time. Launch emulator. Let's run. Let's log in with student credentials. Log in. Start quiz. Okay, and this is looking bad actually. We don't need container here, or no, we can have container, but we are missing row, right? Yeah, let's again try this thing. Inspect. We are here. So this container has this padding left and right with this gutter width with what we call, and on page inside this container we need to have one HTML, one wrapper of the entire content. How to do this? Okay, let's do this. We'll come here, and inside this div class container we are going to have div class row, and then we are going to have this thing. Save it. Let's restart mobile. Then we'll again check once in this on web to be sure that, although this will not break anything, but let's check it. All right, we are on home page. Start. Okay, and it didn't fix this. Again, let's see what is happening. Oh, okay, or what we can do, maybe instead of all these things we can just have, we'll add this container only if this platform is web. So that is the quickest, easiest solution right now. Let's not go into the deep, but you can try different things and you can try to fix what the issue is. But here we'll simply do this only. Here we'll see if platform dot is web, then add this container class, else don't do anything. Save, start in mobile. Okay, it says start quiz. Okay, and we can see this. All right, which is fine. Cool. Now let's quickly try the web as well. Web, start. Auth login, student, start. Okay. And we have that container logic here. All right. Log out, admin. And with this, we have completed our admin panel. So everything looks fine now. Now, next thing we should work on that global loader. Sorry, not loader, alert, because we have try catch scattered all around our app. Is try catches everywhere without showing the actual exception. We just have this kind of catch. We have some direct exception through all those things. Instead of all this, we'll have some alert which will display all our errors. Okay. Then next thing, we'll test it on physical device. So for that, we'll use dev tunnels and then we'll see how it looks on iPhone. So these are the things remaining. These are the next piece of items which we are going to work on.